rest of us are not so lucky, and we've been scorned by the mental health care industry time and time again. And we are not ready to pass a bill like this until we are able to address the issues that are currently plaguing our mental health care system and the adverse effects that will surely follow the passing of this bill. We vote in negation with me because the quality of mental health care will diminish, rather increase the initiative for diversity in mental health care, and the current health care is insufficient as it stands. First, this will diminish the quality of mental health care we have currently. The affirmation is only thinking about quantity over quality, but this will only end up overwhelming our existing professionals more than they already are, and when everyone rushes to the doors to get therapy. And according to a study from the National Library of Medicine in 2021, mental health therapists are at increased risk for experiencing burnout, with up to 67% of therapists reporting high levels of stress when taking 15 to 20 patients per week only. And if they're struggling themselves, then how will they be able to sufficiently help other people and focus on every patient individually? And Representative Cessna claimed that with the passage of this bill, we will have more professionals. But why would these professionals be willing to take this job when their flexibility is fleeting and they're having lower paid jobs? And second, we need to make mental health care field more diverse in order to increase access and decrease stigma. Because according to research from the American Psychological Association and Bureau of Labor Statistics, 84% of psychologists and 88% of mental health counselors are white. And we need to break down these stigmas between these therapists and the patients to make these truly universal. Because when minorities feel like they aren't being heard or understood, they will stop trying to seek help altogether. And Black people often receive inadequate quality of care and overall lack access to practitioners who are culturally competent. And Representative Ponce claimed that this will actually help minorities, but this help will serve to be futile if they are not connecting with their practitioners. And third, mental health care is insufficient as it stands, and this bill does not address the existing problems because it will only yield the opposite effect of the intended effects of the bill. According to the Health Resources and Service Administration in 2023, 149 million Americans live in federally designated mental health shortage areas. And again, we see the affirmation leaving certain groups in the dust while only considering the most privileged individuals in our nation, while not seeing the whole picture. And long waits for mental health treatments are a nationwide problem, with reports of patients waiting an average of 5 or 6 weeks for care, according to Benefits Pro in 2021. And this bill will only make the problem worse and stop people who are in dire need of this bill from receiving help. And it will be too little too late when they finally get it. And that is not possible when this is a life or death situation. So it's time to take off the rose-colored glasses, representatives, and see that we cannot consider a bill like this until we iron out the existing issues with our mental health care industry. Vote in negation with me for this bill so we don't further damage our already crumbling mental health care industry. Because we don't have the resources for a bill like this. We need to rather increase the initiative for diversity in mental health care, and this bill does not address the current problems with the mental health care industry.
Thank you, Representative Hyde, for that speech. We will now move into a 30-second questioning period. All those with questions, please raise your placards at the tap of my gavel. Representative Ponce.
Hello, Representative Hyde. You mentioned in your speech that affirmation is not affected by this very real issue, which is incorrect. So my question is, how do you plan on eliminating the disparities between these minority groups, like I mentioned in my speech, if not by this legislation?
Well, passing this bill is only making it harder for these minority groups to get the proper care.
How will it make it harder as I've provided in my speech?
Because it's not as easy as walking into a room and getting a diagnosis.
People who are white are able to receive
it is not one size fits all. They need someone who can really connect with them.
I've already stated,
they have unique issues that need specialized care.
That elapses questioning time. And that elapses the second AFNEX cycle for this debate. Are there any motions at this time?
I move to vote on previous question.
Second.
We will now move into voting on that motion. All those in favor, please raise your placard. That motion clearly passes. Now, all those in affirmation of the bill, please raise your placards. All those in negation? Seeing this legislative session in a tie, I am the tiebreaker. I will vote in the affirmative, so this bill passes. Are there any other motions?
Second.
This House is now adjourned.
And today's session will be chaired by providing more therapists. Do you have a quantitative yield for how much this will provide, considering our mental health care shortage currently, and if that will be sufficient?
Well, investment isn't really something that we can quantify in yield, but I did give you the 3% that our industry is increasing, or our investment is increasing in that industry as of now.
Well, considering your goal to pass this bill by the time of 2023, do you think that this will be sufficient?
Well, the bill's actually passing in, or the bill's taking effect in 2024, but yes, the bill as we are talking about right now, as I talked about in my third point, is increasing our investment even more. If we don't do anything now, then we're not doing any investment
But if
at
we
all.
don't have enough therapists by
Daddy
that
Laps
time.
is questioning time.
Hardly agree. But the reality is, if we implement